What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 461 of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast, Hot Tags of the Week, where we're going to break down some of the current events, the rumors, the news, the gossip, and some other stuff that went down in the world of professional wrestling over the past few days. Do we feel like talking about? Well, who are we? Well, I'm your host as always, Tony Manigo. Joining me as always is Robert DeFelice.
How you doing, Mr. Owl?
Nobody has no idea what that means, but
You do, and that's all that matters to me.
That is true. That is true. If you think you know what it means, drop a
If
comment.
you'd like to know what it means, donate to the Darkcast here on the Patreon, and we'll do more Darkcast shit.
Yeah, we do potentially have a Darkcast coming up at some point. We are going to try to sort that out a little bit over the next few weeks, but you know what? We'll go into this topic of mentioning that, because why not? One of the things that's happening pretty soon is the Champs Giving tournament, since that has to begin in October, so that way it can end around Thanksgiving. Because, I mean, why would I do a thing called Champs Giving and not having it around Thanksgiving? It'd be kind of weird if I was like, all right, Champs Giving, it starts in February and ends in March. It's one of those. But I think we might have settled on our topic, and it's kind of something a little bit strange, but it's something kind of cool. It's who's the best to never win the world title in WWE. So it's actually kind of the opposite of Champs Giving in some ways. So we're gonna have like Mr. Perfect and Ted DiBiase and Roddy Piper and so on and so forth. And over the course of these 2 weeks or so, I think that I'm gonna set up the qualifying round for around like the 13th. We might have a Darkcast about that. It might
I
be.
already know who I want to win.
I got a couple names. I don't know if I have a number one. I mean, I'm going to be actually championing a lot for Jerry the King Lawler as one. But we'll talk about him a little bit later on this podcast too. But we might do a Darkcast in the couple days or so after this. Maybe to kind of like set up a preliminary list. Because I want to make it 16 people. I want to make it a shorter thing this year. And we got to have like a list of people to go into the qualifying round. So Rob and Callum, if he's able to, Wago, if he's able to, we might kind of sit down, just kind of hammer out some names, figure that out. If you don't know where the Darkcast is and where you can find that eventually, well, it's on the Patreon, patreon.com/smarkoutmoment. $10 and up gives you access to the Darkcasts. Those are Patreon exclusive, except for the fact that if we get people that do the YouTube membership, then once you join that, then you'll get access to that as well. It's the same kind of thing. I kind of pretty much officially decided that at this point. It doesn't seem like it's right to charge people twice for those things and split the difference. So if you do the YouTube side of things or the Patreon side of things, it's the same thing. You just get to pick whichever one you want. Even $1 goes a long way, though, to help out quite a bit, because we want to grow this channel, we want to grow this website, and if everybody donated $1, we would end up having a massively different website. Well, not like massively different. We're not going to suddenly start talking about like shoes or something, but
we would have more content, though.
Way more content, way more writers, way more podcasts, better audio quality.
I'd probably have a lighter schedule.
You definitely would, because you'd be getting a paycheck, like I'd be getting a paycheck more than I do, instead of going like, oh, look at that, I didn't get a Google thing this month or something, But yeah, $1 goes a long way. $5 and up, of course, is pretty much ad block forgiveness at that point. If you're not clicking on our ads and you're not running those things, then hey, if you're donating to the Patreon, you don't need to do that stuff, because you're helping out in a more direct way. And $10 and up see the Darkcasts. There's the mailbag priority tier, which is something you should be aware of, because next week we are going to do the mailbag for Q4. And if you want to make sure we answer all your questions, take advantage of the mailbag priority. We also have the Pick Your Poison tier, where you can request some kind of a special feature or a gimmick or an editorial or a podcast or whatever you want to do. As long as it's within reason, then we're going to do that, because that's what you're asking for. Obviously, I mentioned the YouTube side of things, so YouTube membership, join that. Hit the applause button if you really like these hot tags for this video. Hit the like button as well if you don't got the spare change when you kind of help out this video as much as you can on that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. Ring the little notification bell. I feel like I'm signing off instead of starting, but it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, we haven't even started yet. Oh, okay, so this is another Smark Out Moment. There's no hot tags this week. It's a light week. There's nothing to talk about.
Absolutely nothing going on in the world of anything this week. Nothing.
I think it's actually a very chill week.
I mean, I'm
This is
pretty
the last
sure.
24 hours.
everybody in the world this week, they sat on somebody's porch, maybe even not their own, if they don't have a porch, and they all took up whittling and drank lemonade and slept a lot. And yeah, that's what happened this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you did that by any chance and you're sitting there going, how the hell do you know? Then drop a comment. But drop a comment with everything. Tell us your thoughts on these hot tags. Tell us your thoughts on, I don't know, the Patreon stuff. Tell us your thoughts on the whole owl thing. Also, tell us if you know this little thing. This is something that's been stuck in my head for a little while today. Where the heck is 122 and an 8? You know that without looking it up? 10 points to you, good sir or madam.
I don't.
I'll give it to you one more time. 122 and an 8? Where the heck is 122 and an 8? Yeah, classic. So, if you're thoroughly confused what the hot tags are and all that stuff by now, well, we're going to start getting into the topic, so now you'll understand it a little bit better. But first things first, we mentioned Jerry the King Lawler. Let's talk about him for a little moment here. WWE Story Time is going to be returning. And we unfortunately don't have Mean Gene Okerlund around anymore to be able to be the narrator. So replacing him is Jerry the King Lawler. And Story Time is one of those hit or miss type shows to me. If they have a good story, one of those interesting enough tales to actually watch a cartoon version of, then it can be great. A lot of times, though, it's just not. And I don't remember specifics necessarily of different stories, but like, for instance, hey, I'm cool listening to a story about Andre the Giant mooning people in the car or whatever. Like, that's kind of funny. But
What do you think that looks like? Jesus.
yeah, it's awful, I'm sure. Absolutely awful. But the quality of the story is what drives the episode. And if the stories are pretty much just somebody from the past going, oh man, we used to do some crazy stuff, I'm telling you, we had crazy things, lots of crazy things, I'm telling you they were crazy, and there's no actual story, then I don't care. So I'm hoping we get some good stuff here, but we have even less people that we can talk to anymore. Just less people are around. Some people are a part of AEW now, or, you know, COVID. I don't know how that's affected this, if people were able to not get that going. And I really kind of don't want to have WWE Story Time where people are over Zoom either. So, I don't know.
Sure, listen, it takes a while to animate shit. These are all done in proper, interview form.
Hopefully. What do you think about the whole Lawler switch? I think Lawler is probably a good guy for the job.
Lawler's fine. He's
silly.
As weird as it is, he's beginning to be one of the only ones left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't have Jim Ross right now because he's part of AEW, but like, you couldn't take Jim Ross, for instance, and put him on this. He would be way too serious. Jerry the King Lawler is silly.
I don't know about 2020 Jim Ross. He might enjoy it.
I don't know. He might just complain about pushes.
Well, you got a lot of stories about pushes. Just the whole show is people getting pushed.
Yeah. That's a new network show, Pushed Around by Jim Ross. It's him complaining about that.
My goddamn push, Conrad.
And then that, like, kind of like...
You know what? Real quick, and this ties into Lawler, because I feel it a little bit for him, too. I hate that there's a certain contingency of the audience that is going to know Jim Ross as the cranky old guy who was good, but I don't remember when he was good. I know him as a cranky old guy who's kind of also horny. And
I like there's kind of also horny.
Well, that's also become a trait. I feel like Jim Ross, with the absence of Lawler in his life, Jim Ross has become both Lawler and JR. I don't know.
There's life and vitality to the "in my ass" video that went around not that long ago.
Remember those days?
I'm liking the idea of Lawler doing this. I'm not anticipating a lot of moments, but we're gonna get him. I think that he's probably the best for the job. I can't really picture anybody else that would do it better. But then again, it will be kind of fun to hear that. Like, imagine like a story time thing from Pat Patterson. where he's just kind of rambling and, you know.
You gotta do the thing and the hedge and the Shawn Michael and the
What's the phrase that Pritchard says all the time? Like, out of pace.
yeah, out of bed, kiss the thing.
Fuck you. Just, there
Hey,
goes the monetization.
you know
All
who was
right.
just asking about you? Nobody. I would love if an old person did that to me. Hey, I know you. You know who was just asking about you? Nobody.
Who do you think would be, now that we're on this topic about funny people that would do that, who do you think would be the worst person to narrate story time outside of obviously like Lars Sullivan and he's talking about his porn career or something, but like who like realistically would be a really bad choice ultimately? The first thing that popped in my mind is Bret Hart.
Oh
Because he's got
yeah,
that like, well, kind of like
yeah, yeah. They've all kind of turned into Stu as they get older.
it would be better though, especially the Pritchard thing.
Yeah, yeah, you know the fucking rhino.
Get the rhino, just gotta take
I
your finger here and stretch you.
I thought JBL, honestly.
No, see, I think he would be good. He's energetic.
I think it would depend on the story because he might take something too seriously, but he also he's fun at times. I enjoyed him on the pre-show on Sunday.
Let's see, Brett, I think would be kind of a downer.
Flair would probably just start crying.
And bleeding.
You know, real quick, there is a couple of videos on YouTube that are like almost 4-hour compilations of just Ric Flair promos. And I've learned that in every single promo, the man finds a way to bring it back to his penis. It does not matter who the opponent is or what is happening.
That's
He
true.
will talk about his penis.
That's like every story time. They're like, all right, Rick, we're going to have you read off this story. It was submitted by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And he's going to be like, Hacksaw, I got a hacksaw down here. Then it's just,
I got
okay,
a
Rick.
2x4. I got some wood. Yeah. Space Mountain for you.
Let me tell you this one story about I was on a plane. I was going to Pittsburgh. And I was just kind of like, oh, God, already starting again. Like,
But it really is amazing that Ric Flair can turn a promo into about a cage match with Ronnie Garvin into I'm gonna tell you like I tell the girls in Space Mountain. It's one thing to get on, it's a whole nother thing to write it.
I thought you were going to say to get off.
I'm like, wow, this guy wrestling was different back in the day, man.
You got to imagine Charlotte Flair so many times a day just goes, no, ad.
Yeah, it's gotta be hard for her.
You know who else would be really bad at this story time if they were doing it? Ryback.
Oh, what a bitter person. I liked Ryback, and we've talked about that on the show. We all think he should have won the world title.
He's
But
one of the
he's
people
become
I'm gonna
so
be
bitter.
I'm gonna be making a case for with the Champs Giving tournament. Maybe not my number one, but he's somebody that I think should be on the list.
Second round for me.
I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna do a lot of those things. Had some qualifying round thing and should, I guess, figure that out with the bracket and everything, but stay tuned for that. Yeah, it's happening at some point. Let's move on to another hot tag here. Well, we're talking about Ric Flair. We're talking about his whole thing going on there. Let's talk about Rusev and that.
Oh.
Because that's a good transition. Miro has talked about how the storyline that Rusev was going through that, ended his WWE career in the worst possible fashion imaginable, that wasn't the original plan. And you would think, oh, of course it wasn't, because that was awful. Well, the original plan was even worse. Funny enough. It was supposed to be that Rusev has erectile dysfunction.
You know what, though? I almost don't want to say it. I'm going to say it, and you know what? I'm going to leave discretion up to Tony whether or not this makes air.
You going to dick around a little bit here?
Gonna dick around a little bit, but the idea of Lana shifting gears to Bobby Lashley because her husband can't get it up is amazing. Like, of course she went with this rock hard stud over here. Look at this guy. How many people didn't make the, oh, good for WWE? They got that black sponsorship when they did this because, like, it would have made perfect sense. Well, can you imagine the promos? Bobby Lashley going, well, I mean, I am naturally bigger, but I mean, this guy's even worse because he can't even get it up.
If I were on commentary, I'd be throwing things out there like, Bobby Lashley sure looks, very confident today. What a cocksure attitude.
Oh, Lawler would have been good for that.
That would have had like some kind of, like they keep throwing the name Dr. Michael Kirschenbaum out there. That's happened like 2 or 3 times. They would have had some guy like, he brings in his esteemed friend, and he's got the initials for Ed. ED. Like good old Ed here, that kind of thing. Throw in some Blue Chew sponsorship stuff, and yeah.
See, Rusev actually said this on the official AEW podcast, which is amazing to me that he would go there. But he said, like, he said to Vince, I'm not doing it. This will kill me. Like, you're already killing me, and this will kill me even worse. Like, I'm not saying that I can't get it up. Like, how does that make me a babyface in any way?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that would have worked out well. This didn't work out well as it was, and it wasn't as bad. But that is kind of one of those things that I'm not surprised about either. Like, if Vince McMahon didn't have the networks to reel him in, God knows what other stories he would do. You look at the list. I mean, Katie Vick, couple tries of an incest angle. How many times have people had literal, not literal, but it's supposed to be literal, poop falling down on them? At least like 6?
Including one with him himself.
We've gotten an old woman gave birth to a hand. Like,
that never ceases to pop me because an old woman gave birth to a hand. Like,
choppy
what
pee.
Story here.
I still just don't understand why they went with a hand. Like, not just, I mean, they went with the idea, of course, in general. Like, I think we have to take a step back from the fact that we're wrestling fans and think about this way. The idea that this is supposed to be a competition of pro wrestlers and that we say things like there is an angle where somebody is having sex with an old woman. That already is like, what does that have to do with wrestling? And then when you go, oh, the old woman got pregnant, and then you go, now that has even less to do with wrestling. And then you go, well, she had a stillborn birth. And you go, wow, that's really awful and has nothing to do with wrestling. And then you go, and it was a hand. And then you go, all right, now you're just fucking...
And the segment ended with everybody going, hey, let's give her a hand, everybody. And they clapped. And
until 10, 15 years later, when the guy came out dressed up as the hand and was like, Dad? And like,
what
like,
the fuck do we do for a living?
I mean, in the course of not even a full year at this point, I have typed out Santa Claus has become a champion. And I've also typed out a shark almost probably became champion for the same championship, just one championship. And here we are talking about erectile dysfunction.
A tentacle monster in a dumpster.
Tentacle monster in a dumpster. Do I have that on my list of extra characters? I don't know. I'm gonna have to check that out on the website right now. Because if I didn't add that in there, it needs to get added in there. Let's go roster. Let's go superstars. Because nowadays I've got everything handy dandy for everybody else to check out. I've been putting a lot more of my normal notes that I do throughout the year for people to actually read. So let's see what we got. Around what time was that that tentacle monster? Because I've got oh yeah, I do. Dumpster monster backlash.
What are we even talking about? This is a real thing, and like, how does this pertain to professional wrestling?
And that actually, right underneath that, I had Dominic Mysterio, which I got to remove him because he's not just a regular extra character now. Still do have Angie and Aaliyah. But yeah, I mean, I've got this is a list of the extra or random or ancillary or supporting or whatever characters, what you want to call them. This is the list that I have for this year so far, and I'm probably forgetting a couple people too. Lana and Lashley's wedding officiate, Mrs. Dad, MVP's VIP Lounge Red Rope guys, Mandy and Otis's waiter on the Valentine's Day date, Eric Rowan's Spider.
Oh,
That was this year.
I think that's what caused the pandemic.
It might have been.
When Drew McIntyre killed that spider, that was the last WWE show in front of people.
It was?
Yep.
Wow. Well, maybe it's not a bat. Maybe it's a spider. I've got janitor Kane Pritchard.
What?
Yeah. Kane Pritchard was the janitor at Money in the Bank. I would have Doink and all them, but they're a part of the other thing, the cameo appearances.
That Doink thing pissed me off. I'll never be right with that.
Yeah, that's going to get a worst award this year. Vikings and Cops from Raw, Golf People from Raw, Performance Center recruits acting as fans, the fake Prince in the mirror on the NXT episode in June 3rd, the Uber driver in the backlap Brawl match, guy who got hit by Angelo Dawkins' arrow, and the judges in the decathlon. Dr. Michael Kirschenbaum, Akira Tozawa's Ninjas, Dumpster Monster, guy and dog in car for Sasha Banks' entrance at Great American Bash.
Okay, so the dog in the car might win it for me, but there's also Dr. Kirschenbaum.
Jeeves the bartender.
Oh, he was good. I like Jeeves.
The Wyatt Swamp Fight extras. The Raw Underground dancers. That was one episode.
Those were good.
Sarah, girl Corbin was showing around backstage on SmackDown 8/7.
Who?
Yeah, sure. Demi Burnett, who is in a few episodes. Mandy Rose's hair with googly eyes.
That's a strong contender.
Guy who tells Sasha Banks and Bayley to get to the ring for a video conference with Stephanie McMahon. Sure. Joseph Park.
Oh.
Pat McAfee.
Yes.
Brandy Lauren and the other girl in the hot tub for Damian Priest's championship celebration. I don't know the other girl's name, so I still have her down. It's just the other girl. Angie and Aaliyah Mysterio. Security who sets up Big E for the Sheamus attack and then got his ass whooped afterward. Other people at the restaurant from the 9/7 episode of Raw. Wobbly Walrus. And
he hasn't showed back up yet, has he?
Nope. Just that one 9/11 SmackDown. And guy sitting in Bobby Lash's chair at catering.
Dude, what a weird year.
That's what I got down for extra characters. So
this is a broken year.
Erectile dysfunction storyline, it would have gone in a horrible, worse direction than even that. And I don't blame Miro for being like, yeah, you know what, kind of screw the company. I'm gonna leave and go do something else. Of course, he goes somewhere else and he ends up tweaking his was it knee or his ankle? His ankle, right?
Something like that, yeah.
One of those. He tweaked something. Not
he tweaked
like
something in the leg area.
Nose or ear or anything. Yeah, that's the thing. You know what else had a weird year this year?
What's that?
The XFL.
Oh. Yeah.
But the third time's the charm, right?
I think who's running it now is the charm.
Well, now we got a little bit more information about that. Spring of 2022 is their aiming for the launch date for the next season.
I think that works.
They're going to take this next year.
A year, so yeah.
Yeah, they're going to... Because I got to imagine, too, here's what the weird thing is. The XFL, it didn't really even get started. I mean, it was a couple of weeks, right?
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be a super long season anyway. I think it was supposed to be like a 10-week season or something.
It was going to be like an 8 to 10-week season. The first game was great because people were like, oh, it actually it's good. And then the ratings started to decline anyway. And then they got canceled because one of the players got COVID. And the whole league shut down.
Then they had the whole lawsuit thing going on, and now The Rock is one of the people that is spearheading this. And obviously 2021, that wouldn't happen. But if they spend the next year, I don't think it's going to be super duper hard for them to go about doing things, because they're probably just going to keep a lot of the stuff exactly the way that it was. You know, like they already gone through the effort of sorting out the team names, for instance, and having the logos and all the copyright things. So they're probably going to keep that. And it's probably just a matter of, you got to sort out the teams, you got to sort out the coaches and those kind of stuff. And then you know, follow through with the rest of it. I think if they spend the next year doing that, it'll probably be okay for the spring 2022. Assuming, of course, this whole virus doesn't get worse.
I think they'll probably be in a better position than others, because it will be just the virus will probably be taken care of by spring of 2022.
Better be way before that. I got a wedding next year. So.
Hey, well, you do. Yeah. So let's aim for like summer of next year.
Yeah, it's just a year out at this point. October next year. Anybody wants to send any gifts, Patreon. I don't know. Maybe you can pick up some merchandise and do it that way. Merchandise shops, TeePublic and Redbubble. Check them out.
Wedding's expensive, boys and girls.
Yeah,
Go
it
to the
is.
merchandise shop.
It is. I look at a couple things and it's like, oh, look at that. That'd be kind of cool if people had what was the one thing? Grilled cheese and tomato soup shooters. Oh, that'd be kind of neat. Then I look at the price and I'm like, yeah, people aren't getting that. You know? If that's gonna be $4 or $5 a person, that's not happening for a little tiny triangle of grilled cheese and a shot glass filled with whatever. No, not gonna do that. So yeah, merchandise shops, TeePublic and Redbubble. I don't know if I've got a registry on there, if how that works, but there are plenty of different designs on all those for Smark Out Moment, for A Mango Tees, and for Fanboys Anonymous. And you could put all those designs on all sorts of different products. I probably should check that pretty soon, because I usually add new products all the time, and then I got to go through and I got to add all the, you know, the different dimensions for everything and all that. But go ahead and check them out if you're interested. And if you don't know what fanboysanonymous.com is, I'll plug that really quickly. That is the site where we do everything that's not wrestling related, that's on the geek culture spectrum: comic books, video games, TV shows, movies, predominantly movies. Still got a couple. I got a lot of things that I have on the back burner for that. At some point over this course of this next week, I'm going to write up that article of who should kill the Joker. I already have some notes about it, so that's going up pretty soon. Week in Geek is up every single week. Talk about things like the fact that, you know, the Bond got delayed again. No, look at that. I'm surprised. Or, you know, we might get a Spider-Verse movie with Jamie Foxx's Electro.
You did that already.
Weird year.
But you did that already.
Yeah, well, he's coming back.
Yeah, but we're not getting the other Spider-Man back.
That's it seems like that's where we're heading. Tobey Maguire, possibly a part of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
No way.
I mean, Sam Raimi's directing it now.
Oh God, please!
So.
Like, that would make this year worth going through.
At the very least, with all the plot twists that have happened this year, and the fact that, I mean, like we could talk about, WWE Hall of Famer has COVID and is president, and you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, WWE Hall of Famer has COVID. He did nothing else. It's Coco Beware.
Yeah, just that one, you know. But the if the whole awful year that we've got is just to set up a really great new act with 2021, then that'd be awesome. But we'll see. XFL coming back in 2022. I'll try to check it out when that happens, if the world is not completely on fire. And
good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that, Earth. Hopefully XFL ends up working out better. Like I said, third time's the charm, maybe. If not, then the brand's dead entirely. Don't ever bring it back.
I think The Rock and Danny Garcia know what they're doing. And I have faith in the brand. Stupidly, I have faith in the brand.
Well, let's move on to this topic here. Do you like Raw Underground?
I do.
Do you think that maybe it could have used a little more NXT?
I think everything could use a little more NXT.
Do you think that maybe that should have been there instead of Raw Underground? Maybe an NXT Underground?
I'd be open to that idea, yes.
Well, that name at the very least was worked on before Raw Underground, according to these reports that came out that said that that was a pilot idea that they were working on. That wasn't supposed to be Raw Underground. It wasn't like they were just going to do the same thing necessarily, but we don't really know too many details about what it actually was. It might
Who
still be in the
reported that?
works with a different name, might be some variation of that with the Evolve roster.
I could see that. Who reported that, Tony?
I believe that it was CNN.
Oh, I love those guys.
I don't know why I'm losing my voice here.
2020.
Were you the one who actually broke that on Fightful?
I don't. Let's get to one thing straight here, Tony. I don't break anything on Fightful. That was Sean Ross Sapp, who actually has sources and breaks a lot of cool stuff on Fightful. Yeah, I'd be down for this. It sounds like they are working on new programming, and that's exciting to me. I think the NXT brand, even though I've been very open that it's lost some of its luster this year, I think it's still one of the best things on TV.
So I'm curious what their goal was here, because if it is something along the lines of Raw Underground with like the extra people on the outside, I would assume that that would have been Evolve people. And the Underground name, they can't go with that. I mean, no matter what now. You can't say Underground for any of the other things and not have it be the same thing. But I don't know. Maybe they do something along the lines of the fact that they bought Evolve. Maybe they say like NXT Evolved and they call it something like that. And you get the Evolve crew and you have like an extra show with people in the Performance Center recording matches and kind of what we were talking about before. Like a cross between like a 205 Live and an NXT and Breaking Ground. Hell, maybe they go NXT Breaking Ground. Hell, maybe they go NXT Stomping Grounds and they record it in the Performance
You're really
Center.
big on that. That's not the first time you've suggested that.
It's a name they own. Why not use it, you know?
They also own Halloween Havoc.
Why are they not calling the Survivor Series matches bragging rights? They own the name, you know?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit later in the show about them owning things.
Yeah.
Because they seem to want to
Some
really
things
enforce that.
that they necessarily shouldn't be owning, but
be owning, yeah.
I'm open to an idea of something else with like Evolve and NXT and whatever, as long as it's not, hey, let's have WWE main event with Evolve people, and we know that nobody's going to watch it, and it's just there to eat up time. Because at that point, look, I got too many shows that I'm watching each and every week just to watch the wrestling stuff.
Do you watch The Bump?
I've stopped watching The Bump.
I've actually picked up watching The Bump.
I stopped listening to, this is a while back at this point now. I stopped listening to the New Day podcast and the After the Bell podcast.
I'm going to tell you, you need to pick up the New Day podcast. After the Bell, you can leave it, but the New Day podcast is just a good listen.
That was fun, but I've been kind of like, oh my God, I'm sick of wrestling. I'm going to watch something else. And, you know, I mean, thankfully now Backstage isn't a thing, so that's one less thing. But I hate that I have to watch NXT UK every week now. It used to be a lot better when we had the spoilers. This week I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh God, I really don't care who wins between Ginny and Xia Brookside, or who the hell was it this week? It was those two, and it was Wolf and Dar, and Kenny Williams won the wild card spot, which was like, I like Kenny Williams, but at the same time, he beats Amir Jordan and Ashton Smith, and I'm like, that's your wild card? 3 jobbers, essentially. You don't have like Wade Barrett.
Was Pete the referee for that?
No, he was for the Dar and Wolf match. Like, I don't know, you wouldn't get somebody talking instead of, okay, it's Kenny Williams who's going to lose to Trent Seven then. Or beat Trent Seven to lose to somebody else.
This past Sunday, I picked up watching WWE Ahora. So it's WWE Now, but in Spanish. And I assumed that the interviews would be in Spanish. But it passed up on my timeline, and lo and behold, they were in English. Ooh. So then I realized I should watch this to cover the news. And I sure did get an article out of it.
Now
Son of a bitch that got me watching more.
that's hosted by. Did they say how to pronounce her name?
Quetzali? I did not catch the beginning. I caught it in the middle, but yeah, it is.
Shoshana Shoshushi. She is gorgeous. So haven't seen that. Haven't seen the WWE Now from the China version by Nina Wu. I think is her name.
I've never seen the China version. I've seen some episodes of Waluha out of sheer curiosity.
That's how it's pronounced, Waluha.
Yeah, the 3 is pronounced like an E.
Sure. Okay. The 3 is silent. Sure. Okay. That's. It's a lot easier in Star Wars where everybody understands each other and they all just speak Orbesh. It's just,
yeah.
We all need to learn basic from Star Wars. That's what we'll do. How with English and it's read, but it's read, but it's read, but it's read. And that's red. Oh, red. You mean like red? No, you mean red.
I hate that I understood that.
Right. And then you're like, oh, weather. What do you mean weather? Do you mean weather, or do you mean weather? I don't know whether I mean weather or whether I mean weather. Like, terrible. Every language is stupid. We're all stupid for creating it.
We're jumping all over the place today. And
we are.
I think it shows the kind of day we've had.
Let's move to another topic here. Let's talk about, let me plug some things. Maybe you're listening to us jump around all the place on YouTube, which you should, but maybe you're listening to us elsewhere. Maybe you're on Spotify, maybe you're on Amazon Music, maybe you are on Stitcher or iTunes or whatever it is. Anything that you're on, though, there should be some kind of a follow button or a like button or a rating or whatever it is. If you do, hit the like button, hit the follow button, hit the 5-star rating or any of those kind of things. Share podcast on different platforms, add us to a playlist or something. Anything you could do to help out helps out quite a bit. Let's move over to WrestleMania 37. And actually, let's tie this in a little bit with another topic and kind of like just sort of bounce between the two. It's that NXT is relocating, because this is kind of where we're heading in this like discussion territory. So they're kind of splitting the difference a little bit. More and more, it seems like the direction that we're going is something that we speculated about months ago at this point, that WrestleMania 37 is not going to be taking place in California the way that it was supposed to. The whole, hey, look, it's WrestleMania Hollywood, wouldn't be Hollywood anymore. It would be in Tampa for 2 reasons, it seems, more than anything else. Number one, the fact that Florida is just like, hey, everybody opens up and everybody can do this and just do whatever you want. And, that even more so than some other states. And I don't think that any of this is a good idea, but it's happening. So, sometimes people just want to, if a match isn't going to light enough of a fire, they take a blowtorch to it, like that kind of thing. But that seems like that's a guarantee almost at this point from WWE's perspective, that if they stick with Tampa, that they could actually have people. Whereas if they go to Hollywood, the way that they were originally planning, that they might not. And then that really sucks. And that defeats the purpose. It seems like it's a reset year because we'll have the same Hall of Fame that we did. And we probably would have the same logo.
Setup, which I'll just say sucks.
Right. I don't know if they would change the logo or if the logo would be exactly the same.
They would be exactly the same. They'd be like, hey, isn't this great? You're getting the thing that you wanted.
I would hope that they would change the logo because I already deleted everything.
Well, you gotta stop jumping the gun, mister. Like, what are you doing here?
I shouldn't have to keep a WrestleMania logo for an entire year at that point, But
yes, you do.
The other reason why they might be switching over, not only just because of the fact that there's like fans and stuff, is because they might kind of owe Tampa, because they didn't really get a WrestleMania. And in their minds, they might be like, hey, look, we signed these deals for you to come here and to do this, and we couldn't get people that were tourists to boost the economy in the area. We couldn't get our stadium to make a butt ton of money from people eating hot dogs and stuff. So they might have to kind of make it up to them, especially with how much that they've helped them out and like pulled these restrictions and everything.
I will tell you right now, they're not obligated to do anything next year. I think this boils down to them needing fans and saying, Florida, let us do it. And then Florida lets them do it.
I think it's kind of both. And I think that it's WWE will position it as, we want to give Tampa the one that they whatever like that. And then meanwhile, they're going, plus we get fans, like, you know, kind of that. Aren't we great? We are doing this charitable service for you, and we just happen to get a lot of good things out of it. It's kind of win-win in some ways. It's out of the fact that you just did all
I'll tell
this
you right now,
Hollywood
I
stuff.
do not want WrestleMania season. First of all, just a little bit of a tangent. Next week is the Collective from GCW. I hope that it's enough of a success that independent brands no longer feel the need to follow WWE places, because I don't ever want to see WrestleMania be what WrestleMania was. You know, like I don't want to see it being 100 events and everybody's on top of each other and all that shit's ridiculous.
You mean like as far as all the everybody rushing to try to be around WrestleMania, all that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll go back to that eventually, for sure.
I hope not.
The other thing, though, is that NXT is going to be that whole idea of like it's going to get this fresh new feel and whatever. It seems like they're just going to the Performance Center. And I am feeling very low about that because to me, Full Sail has a better vibe to it than the Performance Center. And they might have fans in attendance. They might have friends and family. We tried that before. It didn't work. Didn't help either because it's still
Wasn't there
dark
a COVID
and
outbreak?
yeah. So not only was that the problem that you're it's going to happen, and then they're going to go, oh man, we tried the same ideas and it keeps screwing up every single time, and you know that kind of thing. But it's also just we got out of the Performance Center, and I can't imagine that setup is going to look any different.
There's the fresh irony about NXT's last show being at the Performance Center before all this was mandated to move to the Performance Center. And I think that one of the reasons they might want to go there is to start getting on board with the idea that, hey, let's invite fans the way AEW is inviting fans. And I don't mean that to say that they're biting off AEW. It's just, it is what it is. They got to have fans first.
But what sucks is it's still just not the right environment because not only does AEW have an outdoor thing, which makes it easier and it makes it better for like, you know, the virus and everything, but it's just
What's a virus?
dark and it's like they got to figure out a better way to change the Performance Center thing. And maybe they did. You know, they have been doing some renovations. Maybe they switched something up.
Triple H insisted that it would be a new, fresh presentation. Now, granted, I lost a lot of faith in the words of Paul Levesque when he said
The Strowman thing?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Between
see how this plays out.
Between Strowman and Charlotte Flair this year, I don't believe anything Triple H says until
And
at least this pandemic's going on.
In fairness, maybe back then Triple H meant, hey, we're gonna put it on Strowman, and that was the cool thing to wait for, and not like wait till you see this unique way that we write off Roman. It was more like wait till you see Braun Strowman. But
It's still no. Like, I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
Paul. You lost a lot of points. Then again, when you're in comparison to some of the other things, you still have a lot of points, you know? When you go with, like, what's the alternative? Oh, the erectile dysfunction story. Okay, well.
Oh. Yeah, Paul's not that bad.
Right. Not even the lesser of two evils. Like, he's still good. It's just a matter of, man, don't start going down in that path, because then you're going to really ruin all that good credibility. But I'm not into this idea that the NXT takeover that we're going to get later on this week, that's probably going to be at the Performance Center. I don't like that.
So you want the latest update on that?
Yes, I do.
Fightful Select recently reported about, let's see, 10:04 It's 11:30, so about an hour and a half ago. WWE will be going back to the crowd, in quotes, method for NXT TakeOver this weekend. We've heard from several talent and those close to talent that have said requests were made to bring family and friends for the crowd environment for Sunday's TakeOver. Talent were asked on Friday afternoon to recommend names. Many of those names received emails noting that they could bring 3 people with them. Nobody under 16 is permitted without a guardian. That's good. Face coverings will be
Mandatory.
required, yeah, and the social distancing policies will be in effect. Those attending are required to submit a rapid COVID-19 test, temperature check, and sign a waiver upon arrival. Also, we can confirm that the NXT TakeOver pay-per-view will be emanating from the Performance Center. More on this as it develops.
Not a fan.
Let's give it a shot.
No. We'll see on
I've been wanting to say that this year.
So many times. Just no. How many times have I said it this year? No. Everything. Actually, well, I'm not the type that does the no. I'm not like Shia LaBeouf in the Transformers movies. I'm more like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's for fuck's sake and god damn it. Those are my go-tos that I throw out there.
So let's talk a bit about Paul Levesque on the media call. I think he's in the position of going, well, let's just move ahead, because he's talked about signing a bunch of women to the roster that you're going to see pretty soon. He talked about, we got a whole bunch of new programming coming in, probably along the lines of that NXT Underground thing or whatever. But I think it's just time to move ahead. And I'm not saying that I feel it's time to move ahead. I'm saying that they have hit the point in their collective lives where they feel it is time to move on.
They've hit what a lot of people have done, where they go, all right, I'm done. I tried. Or maybe even some people, not even maybe, definitely some people didn't try in the slightest bit. A lot of people are just like, that's
Definitely
it.
Happened that way.
We move on. Everybody gets it. Everybody dies. The end of it. I'm fucking sick of it. That's what they kind of do. Some people even say, hey, look at that. That person's wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask. And then a couple hours later, they get COVID.
Yeah. Some people are Hall of Famers that did that.
Yeah. Makes you think. One of those, the rainbow, the star is going to pop up. The more you know.
The more you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
Those great videos are popping in my head now. I'm thinking about the redubbing thing that people used to do, where he's like, they were like replacing all the audio with like, oh god, I can't think of the name of the channel, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Those things back in the day. I got the in my head now. Favorite G.I. Joe character? You got one?
The Sergeant Slaughter count?
Yeah, he counts.
Alright, Sergeant Slaughter.
I always liked Snake Eyes when I was a kid.
I just always get a kick out of it. Like, look, wrestling, it never goes away. Yeah. No, I hate that.
Was there another wrestler that was a part of that? Other than the fact that The Rock was in the movie, but like, you know what? How did that not happen? How did they not have Sergeant Slaughter in that movie if The Rock was in the movie?
Mental lapse.
Come on, whoever made that, some guy.
Yeah.
Come on, guy.
Come on, guy.
Yeah.
The fuck are you doing?
You're inducted to the Fuck That Guy Club, guy. But like, didn't they have like maybe like Hacksaw or something as a part of that, and some other kind of tie-in? I kind of feel like. I feel like there's some kind of weird trivia about that I'm blanking on a little bit right now. If you know, drop a comment below. We're not going to go down this rabbit hole too far. But, yeah.
That's what you think.
I already have. Eventually, when that new G.I. Joe movie comes out in 2070, the way that movies keep getting delayed, then we'll talk more about it then. Talk about it on Fanboys Anonymous too. Why not? So NXT's going to pop up in the Performance Center. Boo. WrestleMania 37 is going to be in Tampa. Boo. Here's another thing to boo. WWE is going to be taking over the Superstars Twitch and Cameo accounts. And now this seems like all those fears that we were like, well, I mean, it's not going to be like that, so it's not going to be that bad. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we were hoping wouldn't be the case. They're just flat out taking money from them. And now, even more clarification, the money that they earn from this is going to be taken out of their downside guarantee? What the hell is that? You go ahead and you do more work outside of what we tell you to do as an independent contractor, and then we get to earn money off of it, and we'll give you some, and it'll count towards the money that we would be paying you? No, that's not how this shit works.
Yeah, I got nothing. Like, you know, I like to defend them. But like this is greed to the fullest extent.
This is as shitty as you can imagine, and it sets a precedent too that starts getting into some really even worse territories. It could be the type of shit where it's like, not that they're going to do it, God forbid, of course, but it could be the type of thing where it's like, you know, when Zack Ryder's holding a sale on eBay for like old action figures that he has. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to sell this. I don't want it anymore. Technically speaking, WWE could be like, oh, look at that. You're running an eBay shop. Okay, well, we own some of the money because you wouldn't have drawn anybody in if it wasn't for your status as a... That, come on now, you know? Like...
Again, as the guy who wants to defend them, this sucks. Because this was the worst case scenario where they're just literally like, all right, so here's the deal. You can have a Twitch account, but we now control it. And any money you make will go towards your downside guarantee. The Cameo shit is worse. Have you read the updated Cameo requirements?
That's like, they get their pay sent directly to WWE, right?
Yeah.
So they can't even... I mean, I'm assuming that's probably what is going on with Twitch, too.
Talent affirm that WWE is their authorized representative. Talent authorized Cameo make all payments and any other compensations to WWE. Cameo will not be made a party in any dispute. Let's dissect this one in particular. Cameo will not be made a party in any dispute between WWE and the talent. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not all hyped up on legalese, so what does that technically mean? Do you know about like a breakdown of that?
That basically means, hey, if you come for us, like if the talent gets disgruntled and wants to sue WWE, you can't get Cameo involved to try to help your case.
Yeah, like they're staying out of it entirely. It's just like, you got a problem with each other, you guys figure it out, because we're paying WWE, and if you don't want to have them do that, then you leave WWE, like that kind of thing.
Nope. The authorization can be canceled at any time, only if the account is canceled.
Huh.
So hey, if you don't like it, that's great, but you can just terminate your account altogether.
This really is just... And correct me if I'm wrong, if you maybe I'm thinking of this a little bit wrong too, but it seems like this is the case. So again, if you know more about it, let me know. With the downside guarantee stuff, let's say, I don't know, pick a random person on the roster that's not really all that big, like
Lince Dorado.
Sure, Lince Dorado. Let's say his downside guarantee is $100,000, and per year, he at least is going to make $100,000. If he does nothing but sit at home injured, doesn't collect any royalties, no merchandise, nothing at all, doesn't get on a pay-per-view to get a bonus or anything, because I think that's the case, isn't it? It's like they get their downside guarantee no matter what, and then they get like a bonus based off of like TV and pay-per-views, and then they probably get a bonus based off of like, I don't know if they get really a bonus for like signings and media things or something. Maybe they do, I don't know. And then, of course, they get their merchandise percentage and they get their DVD percentage and whatever, that kind of crap. But let's just say if you were to sit at home, like Sam Gradwell, that's a good option. Gradwell didn't do a single thing for the past 2 years because he was injured. Let's make it even simpler. His is $50,000. If you, I don't know if his is, I'm just saying, arbitrary number. To anybody that's out there like, he makes 50,000, he might make 10, who knows?
Yeah,
but yeah, not at all. So if he has a $50,000 downside guarantee, correct me if I'm wrong about this. If you make, say, the way that Paige is making, she's making more than $50,000 probably a month on Twitch,
I don't know
right?
if she's making that much.
Well, somebody do a breakdown where they said like for $5 a piece?
For Roman, wasn't it for Roman? Roman was making a lot, but he was doing $500 a cameo.
No, I think it was some kind of breakdown that I had read. Maybe it is wrong too, but it was something about like it costs $5 to like be on their Twitch
subscriber, yeah.
And they had like 15,000 subscribers, so that's like more than $50,000. And if that's the case, if you're making $50,000 a month on that, then that's just insane. But hey, you're rich, you're famous, whatever the case. But what happens once you pass that downside guarantee? Is WWE, for instance, okay, we'll pay Sam Gradwell $50,000 no matter what, even if he sits at home, and he earns that in a month on Twitch. What happens the next month? He just takes and pockets the rest of the money, right?
I have no clue.
Because if a Paige, now that we know, like, she might have $50,000 a month. If she were to do that, and if her downside guarantee is $100,000 per year, 2 months of doing that, then she gets a percentage or whatever. After that, I mean, I would assume that she would be entitled to all the money because that's already, it can't count towards the downside guarantee once you've exceeded the downside guarantee.
That makes sense to me, but none of this seems right. None of this seems...
It's not right because you know what that also means? Anybody who has a Twitch account or a Cameo account and they earn enough money to equal what their downside guarantee is, that means that WWE is essentially not paying these wrestlers.
Well, let's get into this aspect. Andrew Yang, former Democratic presidential candidate, says that he's heard from talent that WWE is forcing talent to sign new agreements where Twitch would then become obligations. You are now obligated to stream. Now, maybe that would make sense as to why, they would say, hey, it counts towards your downside because now you're contractually obligated to do this. But I just think it's super fucking scummy. And I should note that Fightful has spoken to some talent who have all said that they don't feel they have not been forced as of yet to sign a contract. But it's super fucking like, oh, well, you want to do this? Fine, but now you're doing it on our dime and you're doing it our... It's everything you hear about WWE that you hope and pray isn't true. And then it turns out to be worse than it could have possibly been.
Yeah, because, I mean, if WWE wanted to do something like this and they didn't want to be awful about it, they could do what we were talking about, which is like, hey, okay, we don't like the idea that you're all doing cameos and making money off of that, and we want to earn some money off of that. We're going to make the WWE Shout service, or whatever the fuck we ended up calling it, or whatever they call it. We're going to do that. We're going to have our own version of that, and you can loop that in through us, and we'll take care of a lot of that stuff for you, and we just earn a certain percentage of it, and you're doing that on the other time. Then, if the talent wants to do that, then they can. If they want to stay on Cameo on their own, they should be allowed to. The Twitch thing is like, you're working in with another company with Twitch or something? No, that shouldn't be the case. That's like, WWE shouldn't have a partnership with Instagram for other people to have some kind of, I'm holding up a little packet of whey powder or whatever the hell. Like, I mean, we talked about this before. We've talked about it a couple different times. We'll talk about it again in the future. It's stupid to say WWE owns their likeness. It's their face. You don't own their face. It's stupid to say you can't use your real name. Now, a guy like a John Cena, yeah, to a certain extent, it's a little bit weird. But
Right.
if Paige wants to go by Saraya, she should. They shouldn't have anything to do with it. Very scummy. And now that it seems like it's just, well, it doesn't matter if you changed your name to whatever, and it doesn't matter if whatever. Now we're just going to, essentially, you're going to do extra work to earn the money that we would have given you to do nothing. Well, that's not right. Like, nobody at that point should stream. They shouldn't bother. Why would they?
So this then takes it into another level that I want to discuss with you. Talent have begun changing their names on Twitter. I think we're seeing like the full metamorphosis of, "Hi, I'm Troy McClure, and I play a wrestler on TV." That's like,
yeah, Killian
really
Dane has 2 accounts now. Where it's like, if you want to follow the WWE stuff, go to Killian Dane WWE or whatever his name is on there. And then if you want to do, you want to follow the person who's playing Killian Dane, then follow him at Big Damo or Damo Speaks or Demolition Man or whatever the hell his name is on there.
Did you really just? You're a tremendous friend. Mia Yim's got 2 accounts, which I think it makes sense because specifically for the retribution stuff.
She has Mia Yim and she has Mia Wrestler.
Close. Reckoning Retribution.
That's right. She has that awful fucking name. Jesus.
The big one to me is Xavier Woods. He changed his. I don't know if he's got a new one for just like the Xavier Woods stuff, but he changed his Twitter to @AustinCreedWins.
Not even just @Austin Creed.
No, I'm guessing that maybe Austin Creed was taken.
Double check that, see who's got Austin Creed.
Yeah, I'm literally doing that. So it doesn't look like anybody has Austin Creed, but I guess maybe that's what he felt like going with.
No, somebody's got Austin Creed. Austin Dwayne Creed.
Damn it, Austin
Creed. Following one person, Tosh.0, Dank Tosh. And followed by 4 people. That's just random people.
I hate that.
Oh, I can't get fucking Tony Mango.
I know.
I can't get Tony Mango or Anthony Mango. And I'm like, God damn it, why not? Because the Tony Mango person right now, they have 1 follower and they're following 1 person. They joined in April 2009 and they abandoned their account July of 2009. All they say is, "What is going with you? How about some recipes already? I am waiting for a couple of good fast ones." They literally, they made an account to tweet at 15-minute meals. And that's it. And now I can't have Tony Mango.
So he's constantly introducing himself now as Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed. I think that sucks.
Yeah.
I said this in the WrestleZone chat. I think we're so close to WrestleMania getting like movie previews prior to it and end credits, because it's just becoming more and more of like, we are just performers playing characters.
That would make more sense in Hollywood, at least.
And yes, that is what they are. I'm not saying I'm like, "Oh, wrestling is still real to me, damn it." But I just think that it's lame. Like Dakota Kai has 2 accounts now. She's like @CharlieGirl for just her life stuff, and @Dakota Kai WWE. I think that's shit. I'm sorry. Like,
now, see, I like that. Because I think that if you want to follow the I'm going to fight with you this week on SmackDown type thing, then that should be the WWE account. Like, that should just be them being completely kayfabe the entire time. And then when you get to somebody like, for instance, T-Bar went from, I'm gonna beat the crap out of everybody because I'm a part of Retribution, and like screw X-Pac, like no, actually he got the pass. That's what it was. And like doing all T-Bar stuff, and then he's like, hey guys, you shouldn't wish that anybody gets COVID or whatever. I'm a nice actual person. I'm Dominic Dijakovic. And it's like, no, okay, now you're not T-Bar anymore. You know?
Yeah.
So have him be Chris Dijak elsewhere, and have T-Bar be like, fuck you, I'm T-Bar, I'm Bane, T-Bane. Just kind of. I like that better. I think that separates it. It makes it a distinct difference between them, and maybe that takes a little bit of the sting away too from these weird Stan account things. Hate that freaking phrase and everything, but it's true. Like, you look at these, at Roman Reigns fans club things, and Alexa Bliss XOXO, love her so much, whatever. Like, that kind of stuff I think is so ridiculous, and I don't understand why people have those kind of accounts again, but you're all obsessive and crazy anyway. Anybody who does that. But the distinction, then maybe people will be a little bit less likely to be so crazy about celebrities when they can make more of a separation. I'm not a celebrity guy. Like, to me, I never understood the whole fascination with celebrities. You're
hardly a pop culture guy in any respect.
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, like, I don't care about bands, musicians. It's like, is that a good song? Good. Who does it? Who fucking cares? It's a good song. It could be Madonna, it could be Elton John, it could be Lady Gaga, it could be some guy on the street. Like, I got the Diet Coke commercial from the Batman VHS on my MP3 player. Yes, I use a Walkman, a Sony Walkman. It's great. But I got that on there.
Like a legitimate Sony Walkman.
So not like the old timey Walkman. It's an MP3 player. It's one of the things
that's still a Sony branded MP3 player.
Yeah, it's a Sony. What does it say here? NWZ-A17 digital media player made in Malaysia.
That is amazing.
It's great because I don't need to have a subscription for anything like Spotify type stuff. And when I put random things on there, like that Diet Coke commercial thing, you're not gonna find that on Spotify. But if I'm hitting my my fast forward button or my skip button or whatever, and I go from switching over between, I don't know, like let's play a little game here. Let's put on the Walkman. There's the downside to it though. It always has to load things. But if you're playing around with that, I'm gonna get some random stuff. I'm gonna get that Eminem song Stan, and then I'm gonna hit the button and whatever, and I'm gonna go to what? Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke. Because it's fucking, I like that. And how do we go down this rabbit hole? There's lots of rabbits. There's
Twitch. That's how we got here. I literally had to think about it for a second. Yeah.
Hey, Barry the elephant. You got any rabbits in that hole?
Yeah.
What's the connection between Twitch and this? Separation of things.
Separation of people and the person they play on TV, and hopefully this kind of quelling stan culture.
I don't know how I got to my MP3 player.
Because you got on the whole, you don't really like bands, you like good songs.
I don't like bands. Yeah, I don't follow celebrities. That's what it was. Okay,
see, I could keep a through line.
You know what? Is that a matter of us doing that, or was that just a matter of me stalling before this loaded? Because now it's all loaded, huh? I don't know. The truth is that I didn't remember. So let's see. I got Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Then I go to a mashup of Run This Town and Losing My Way. Then we got a song from Phantom of the Opera. Then we got a cover version of American Pie.
Well, what cover version of American Pie?
Madonna. So I mentioned Madonna earlier. Then we got the theme song from the TV show Limitless. A song from the movie Hancock. Champagne Supernova by Oasis. What a Wonderful World by,
Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong. So we're all over the place here. But the celebrity thing, I've never understood the celebrity thing. I don't care if somebody's a celebrity, they're still a person. I walked by Famke Johnson one time in New York, and I'm like, yeah, it's Famke Johnson. And Caroline's like, who? And I'm like, oh, the Bond girls. She was Jean Grey in the X-Men movies. Real pretty, good actress. And she's like, oh, okay, you gonna get an autograph? I was like, no. She walked by, I don't care. Yeah. It was more so me going, hey, look at that, Famke.
I think in this modern culture, you're going to start to see more of that. And I think
hope
that
so.
part of that has to do with the fact that the celebrities now grew up with social media in their normal lives. So they've hit a plateau where they're like, hey, I don't want to stop being my true self because now I'm on TV and for some reason you expect more of me. I think they hit a realization of like, okay, we're just people instead of like wanting to be famous. Because, back in the day, like when you wanted to be a rock star, you wanted to be a rock star to like live that crazy life. Whereas now it's like, I just kind of still want to be myself, and not have to change too much. And
I
think
thought it
you're gonna
was
see more of that.
random Fanboys Anonymous talk, but I thought it was funny that they cast the Kamala Khan role for Ms. Marvel, and it's some completely unknown actress. Like she's like 15 or something, and she doesn't even have an IMDb account at this point. That's how like unknown she is.
Wow.
But somebody went ahead and they found that she's on Letterboxd, and that she gave Captain Marvel a 2-star rating.
Oh shit!
And it's like, so they're like, hey, look at that, like the new Ms. Marvel. Not a big fan of Captain Marvel. It's kind of funny, but that's good because I think that people need to kind of have that reality check that it's like, yeah, celebrities are not gods, and you shouldn't worship celebrities. They're people, and you should let them eat dinner with their families and not go up to them and ask for an autograph because that's weird.
See, I think at one point it was more acceptable to view them in that light because it used to just be like, oh my god, Mom, this dude's in my TV. Like, wow, I didn't know that he existed outside the TV. Whereas now it's like, you're so aware that you can't possibly treat them like you used to treat people.
My brushes with celebrities have been pretty much all like the Famke story. Like, I mentioned to you before, I think I mentioned it on the show. EC3 bumped into him at an airport a couple years ago. And I'm like, hey, EC3. And he's like, oh, hey, dude. And I was like, hey, let me give you my card. If you want to do an interview or something like that, let me know. And he's like, oh, you going to the show? And I'm like, no, what show? And he's like, he was supposed to be in for House of Hardcore. I'm like, nope, dude. Didn't even have a clue that was going on. When you go to WWE, by the way, you should go to NXT. That didn't fucking work out. And he's like, man, it's my fault. And he's like, I'm trying to figure some things out and stuff. And I was like, all right, well, like, cool, man. Like, just wanted to kind of say hi, gave you my card or whatever. And he goes, hey, you want a picture? So he's asking me if I wanted a picture. And I was like, all right. It's like, so I took a picture real quick. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, let me know if you want to do an interview or something. All right, see you later. And like, I mostly wanted to just give him my card and be like, hey, look, you should be aware of I have a site and that kind of thing. But like, I told the story before too about even when I got the autographs from people when I was a little kid. Like when I went up to Goldberg, I'm like, so who's going to beat you for the streak? And he's like, oh, nobody, pal. And I was like, I think Sting's going to beat you. Like, just a dick, little kid. I went to the Rock's signing wearing a DX shirt. And he's like, you're really going to go to the Rock's autograph signing wearing a DX shirt? I'm like, I got my favorite. Shawn Michaels my favorite.
That's so you. I think I've met the one like starstruck moment I had was meeting Maria, because I'll fully admit, like, you're standing with something like Maria in front of you, like that's like, wow, you're hot. Like I did have that like, oh, wow, she's really hot kind of moment. But I walked right by Sandra Dutt.
You didn't stop by and go, wow, Sanjay Dutt, you're hot.
No, but like my friend was like, "Oh, that's Sanjay Dutt," and I was like, "No, it's not." Like, yeah, that was like the aha moment I had where I was like, "Wow, these wrestlers are really the most unassuming people."
I was thinking that you were going to be like, yeah, I walked right by Sanjay Dutt, and he's just like, hey, you want an autograph here, there, buddy? And you're like, fuck you, Sanjay Dutt.
No, like I just didn't even like. He's like, "Hey, buddy," and I'm like, "Hey, man!" Like,
Yeah, thinking
why?
he's just another guy in the crowd. Just, hey, man, you in line too?
Unfortunately, I will say I'll share one like wrestling meet and greet story. I chose to. This is 5 years ago at the time, so cut me some slack. But instead of taking a picture with Johnny Gargano, I took a picture with Joey and Candace, and I regret that
Mm.
now. Just because it's like, first of all, Johnny Gargano is so good, and Joey Ryan is so scummy. And I fucking took a picture with Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae instead of like, hey, Johnny, you know. 5
You know
years ago.
what I don't regret from, actually, it's more than 5 years ago at this point, from Mania 29.
What's that?
I don't regret giving my card to Rikishi, because now I have a story for now on that I can always be like, hey, I gave my card to Rikishi and he fucking threw it on the floor.
Jerk.
Yeah.
Glad children get beat up by their cousin.
What a move. He metaphorically shoved his ass in my face.
The ass of life. Go listen to 2002 Paul Heyman's SmackDown podcast.
I don't do the celebrity thing. I don't think other people should either, and I think that somehow ties into the cameo things. I think that if you want to spend $400 to ask Alexa Bliss out and know that you're going to get shut down, it's your money. You can go ahead and do it, but I think that that's a little weird.
All right, in fairness, though, I don't think that a person who did that felt that they were going to get shut down. That person probably felt like, this is my chance. And he took that chance. And you know what? No, I'm going to transition this into a hot tag that I know you didn't even have, but we're going to talk about it.
The
Mandy
guy?
Rose is fucking awesome.
That's
Mandy
the guy
Rose,
from that whole thing that you sent me about? Yeah, so fill everybody in on the backstory of that, just in case they don't know.
So Mandy Rose was doing virtual meet and greets last week as part of a Clash of Champions weekend. And this guy was like super nervous and like stuttered, and people made fun of him on the internet because they fucking suck. And Mandy Rose was like, she saw this on the internet and she took the time out to DM the guy and say, hey, I see people making fun of you. I just wanted you to know that I enjoyed that experience, and like that was nice. It was nice to meet you, and I'm sorry that people are being shitty on the internet. And I immediately texted you guys, and I was like, give her the belt, because she's a decent person. Because when I saw that in the morning, I was like, fuck you people. You know, everybody's a hypocrite. They all talk about anti-bullying, but then you want to make fun of people, but you can't make fun of. But it's only as long as it's a certain kind of person, then it's totally cool to make fun of them. It's like, no, bullying is bullying, and I hate that word because it makes it all sound like we're in preschool.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing entirely. We've accepted that word in the culture. Bullying is bullying. Stop being shitty.
Now, I am of the two opinion type of thing where I go, yeah, you know what? Everything at some point can be laughed about. Like, there's almost nothing that there will never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, be any type of any kind of joke that you can at least chuckle for. Obviously, there's a lot of things you shouldn't laugh about. And there's a lot of things that it would take a lot for it to be funny. You know what I mean? But I've laughed at plenty of awful things. I've made fun of people. I make fun of myself every single time I do something stupid because I expect other people to, and they should. You know, why not? I think that people ganging up on people on the internet is lame because it's you're hiding behind the keyboard, that kind of thing. Whereas even when we do these kind of things, it's a little bit more putting ourselves out there. I don't think that it's as shielded as just tweeting some things out and everything. But
people make fun of. I do the live streams on wrestlers, and people make fun of me. They're always like, oh, that guy can't even fucking stare at the camera straight, or hey,
Yeah, I've gotten, that guy, his nose is always stuffy and whatever, and it's like, oh, it's not stuffy right now, I just kind of have a lower voice right now. Actually, do I sound lower? That's something I said earlier today. I was like, does my voice sound lower? I don't
no,
know.
I don't think so. But I'm so used to your voice.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to talk like this the whole time, then maybe. But the idea of making fun of people online, it's kind of like, I don't know, do it for a reason. Do it because it's going to be funny. Don't just do it to be a dick, and don't
And
do it to people that maybe have like they're going through something.
I'll say it right
Or
now, dude. People, specifically in this case, you thought it was funny to make fun of a guy because, look at this loser. He doesn't know how to talk to the pretty girl, and it's like, fuck you, because like you women would do that for Roman or Seth, and it would be like, well, you can't make fun of, like you don't get a pass just because you think it's socially acceptable to make fun of.
I saw one video that was in the same kind of that meet and greet type thing where some girl was all like crying and all, I don't even know what to say to you with Alexa Bliss, because she was talking about how she has an eating disorder and that means so much that Alexa Bliss has talked about it and whatever. It's like, yeah, I don't do the celebrity thing. I think it's a little weird that people are so creepy about celebrities and all that. But if you look up to somebody and that makes you happy and you're not one of these psychos that's like, I'm going to try to, break into their friggin' home like Sonya Deville and all that,
Yeah.
then if you've got not a mentor, what's the word I'm thinking of? Role model. I've never had a role model before with a celebrity thing. I've never looked up to anybody like that, but I am an oddball in a lot of ways. If you have somebody that you look up to and that makes you strive to be a better person or to reach out for your goals or whatever, cool, fine. But props to Mandy Rose, because she didn't have to do that. She could have just been like, wow, yeah, that was a kind of an awkward thing and whatever. But I'm sure that helped turn that guy's opinion around a little bit from getting made fun of. So, yeah, good job, Mandy.
Yeah, and like it's just that's the proper way to handle shit.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
With a T, like Booker T would say.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's your shucky ducky quack quack moment of the podcast. So, speaking of Mandy, I'm gonna have to go on a little bit of a rant here, as if we haven't already.
Oh yeah, we're all over the fucking place.
This is gonna tie into when we start breaking down the TV shows for the week. Why the hell did WWE move Mandy Rose and now Dana Brooke as well to the Monday Night Raw roster 2 weeks before a draft? You mean to tell me you couldn't book any alternative things to eat up those 2 little segments and just put them on the draft? I get maybe the Mandy thing because they tied that into the story with like the Miz got her booted out of there and whatever. But Mandy couldn't have beaten Indy Hartwell on Raw this past week and somebody else next week. And then the week of the draft thing, Dana Brooke gets moved over and it's something where it's like, you know what? There you go. I'll book it on the fly. Who did Mandy and Dana fight? Natalya and Lana. Okay. So Mandy goes in to Monday Night Raw. Natalya and Lana do something backstage where they're like, oh, you're the new girl? The hell with you. So she has a match. She beats Lana.
All right.
Next week, she has Natty, and it's Natty ends up either winning by DQ, winning by like shenanigans, losing by DQ, something along those lines. The week of the trades with Raw and switching things over like that, you have
I've got a friend.
Natalya and Lana, and Mandy goes, hey, I got a new partner, whatever, to fight you, whatever. It's Dana Brooke, new member of the Raw roster. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's not even like you have to try.
Tony, it sounds like you're about to say it's not that hard. Are you about to say it's not that hard?
I'm going to make you wait for it.
All right. Well, I'm waiting for it. I want to say that Mandy Rose had gear that was like Trish Stratus in the year 2000, and I didn't notice that until I saw she posted about it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and we know that she has been a Trish Stratus fan, so that's neat. I kind of like the pairing of Mandy and Dana.
Yeah.
They don't have like a team name or whatever, but they were dressed like they were a team, and they look like they could be a team. They're like muscular blonde women that are.
Boy, if you're one of those people that subscribes to the theory that WWE likes a certain type of person, that tag match on Raw gave you plenty of ammo.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those things that I'm just like, why would you do a draft move and then another draft move right before a draft like that? It's not like they did that on a fly. They clearly thought that this was a good idea. So just what's the deal? Like, come on, WWE.
Yeah. It's fine. I think this is the worst place for Mandy. I'll be honest. Mandy is off of a hot feud and a very hot angle with Otis and a hot feud with Sonya, and to just go, you're blonde and a tag team with another blonde. Kind of lame.
Well, who's to say that they don't move back over to SmackDown?
I'll cry.
You know? We don't know what's going on with this draft. The WWE doesn't know what's going on with this draft, let's be honest. And next week, when we start getting into that, because it's going to be the next episode of SmackDown and then the episode of Raw to follow, it's going to be a madhouse. And, you know, we'll follow along with that. We'll do our whole...
I got a booked show for next week. I can't wait to get into that.
Let's go with the rest of the other stuff that we got going on here. Let's go with the beginning of the show from Monday Night Raw. We had Flair, Big Show, Christian, and Shawn Michaels, and Randy Orton is popping up to say he wants another match with Drew McIntyre later on in the night. That's how the show ended. It was those four legends are playing poker. Of course, Ric Flair's winning, probably talking about his penis. And at the end of the night, Randy Orton shows up with night vision goggles on to attack them in the dark, walk back over, turn the light on, and just be like, hey, that's what I did. Amazingly horrible.
No, hold on. Yeah, you had me at amazing. This was a mind fuck. Not because he did the night vision goggle gimmick, but because he let them see his face. And then he should have creeped his hand in through the door, hit the switch, put the night vision goggles on outside, come in the room, beat the crap out of them, and then, walk out all casually. Because they saw you. Why did you need the disguise?
Well, no, he put the night vision on so he could shut the lights off and attack them in the dark.
But he showed his face to them before he shut the lights off.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obvious that it's him. It doesn't matter.
Nah, it didn't have to be.
Like, it's not an angle of who attacked so-and-so. It's you need to know that it's Randy Orton. That's just him getting the tactical advantage.
I just think, like, from the logical standpoint, like, you could show the audience, but, like, from the logical standpoint of, I'm gonna kill you, you're gonna, like, shut the lights off first so that they're unaware. But I'm thinking too much about an angle that doesn't matter.
I'm just disappointed there's no Buffalo Bill tie-in from Silence of the Lambs.
I hate to admit that I kind of liked it. WWE is clearly in a weird identity crisis phase, and I kind of like it because they're just throwing random shit at the wall, and some of it's cool 80s vignettes, and some of it's like, boy, I don't even know if I would want Hulk Hogan subjected to this.
There's two pretty consistent things this year, at least right now, that at the end of the year, I don't know what I'm going to end up giving like a lot more props to, but Randy Orton's one of them. He's been doing some great stuff, and Roman Reigns, the tribal chief thing, like some really solid stuff amongst thousands of rematches between Nikki Cross and Bayley and Street Profits and Andrade and all that. Speaking of that, we had a rematch, Asuka against Zelina Vega. If you didn't see that on the previous night, there you go. It's happening again. Why?
What does it bother you?
Because why bother? Why do it? That defeats the purpose of watching the pay-per-view if you just do it again the night afterward. To me, that feels like if I were to eat dinner, throw up, and then go, I'm ready to eat again.
I get it. It's just like it didn't bother me. You know, I thought Zelina's done pretty well.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the two. It's just I don't think that should have happened. It shouldn't have been right afterward.
After that bothered me.
So Andrade comes out to the ring. He says that Zelina Vega was never anything without him, that his tag team with Angel Garza was held up by himself, and Keith Lee beats him.
This is awful. Because all three of them are going to go nowhere.
Yep. Now, I'm a big fan of Keith Lee. I think that Andrade's got a lot more to offer than what they've been doing. I think that Angel Garza is great. And it's not looking great for them. R-Truth was handed a letter by a ninja. Again, these are our jobs. R-Truth was handed a letter by a ninja, and that was a note about, hey, you know what? Akira Tozawa, he got eaten by that shark. And this is a letter that he had written in case he were to be eaten by a shark, where he gives his black belt to R-Truth, which was a ruse for Akira Tozawa to win the championship, and then immediately lose it to Drew Gulak, who was the ninja, who then immediately lost it to R-Truth. This was definitely the quickest succession of 24/7 title changes. Actually, the quickest succession of title changes in WWE history.
For the first time ever. Okay.
We got one of those tonight. The Fiend, for the first time ever, is going to compete on SmackDown.
I can't believe that's the first time ever.
Annoying. Yeah, so belt goes. Imagine my surprise when I'm writing up some stuff about Monday Night Raw, and I go, oh, crap, it's an R-Truth segment. I got to start preparing a title change because there's been 1,000 posts about title changes on the 24/7 title. And as I'm making the post about the 24/7 title changes hands, it changes 2 more times where I'm like, I didn't even get a chance to post this before it's a 3-time title switch.
How did it make you feel?
Whatever.
I respect that.
Later on in the night, they had a 24/7 title match. Triple threat between those three where R-Truth retained.
I like when they actually put the belt on the line.
Me too. What else we got on here? We had Jerry Lawler with the King's Court with the Mysterio family, and they dance around the whole thing where Aaliyah does say the whole, he's not like Seth Rollins, being Murphy.
Let's talk about it.
Aaliyah, she was better than she was before, to a certain extent.
There are a couple of things that shock me about this angle, and neither one is the thing that seemingly shocks the internet.
The fact that she's pretty?
Well, I mean, Ray's not that bad looking of a guy. The fact that Angie's still involved, the fact that they've gotten Angie to come to like 5 or 6 WWE television tapings so far, and the fact that it's like the Mysterio family are just characters on WWE television.
Well, clearly that's setting up the new reality show, The Mysterios.
It's the Mysterio's Mystery Bunch. They go around solving mysteries.
That's what that cartoon's going to be all about, that Rey Mysterio cartoon.
Don't knock it. I mean...
Who's that jumping out the sky? And then they figure it out.
There it is.
It's Rey Mysterio. There you go.
So, obviously, Aaliyah's... I'm not going to say flirting. Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy have some type of budding interest. This bothers many people.
I want to make a budding interest Buddy Murphy joke, and I can't think of one. I'm annoyed right now.
She's
got a buddy interest. There you go.
Yeah, this bothers a lot of people. It don't bother me because I know it's a television show and her parents are right there.
Well, it's bothering some people because of the age difference, because he's 30...
He's 31, she's 19.
19. Technically speaking, that's legal. I mean, that's...
Not even technically speaking.
Yeah, I mean, that's just flat out legal. I mean, once you get past 18, it's totally legal.
It's not great. It is tone deaf, given the current circumstances regarding some people like the Velveteen Dream.
I mean, there's 80-year-old billionaires that have 18-year-old girlfriends. It's like, it's weird.
No, but that's a different subject for a different podcast.
There's weirder options than saying, like, you know what I mean?
like, it is what it is. I think it's great for Aaliyah because Aaliyah's clearly enjoying it. Otherwise, she would not have come back 3 times, beat up Buddy Murphy with a kendo stick, then done a King's Court segment, then slap her brother on live television. She's enjoying being a part of the television show.
Bad slap, though.
Well, she didn't want to hurt her brother.
Well, she should. I mean, you got your opportunity to slap your brother. Why don't you take advantage of
that? There's a thought there.
Like, if I had a brother and it was like, hey, can you, like, go punch him in the face? I'd be like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that to random family members and do that for the sake of it. But, you know, for a TV show and as part of the whole picture of that, like, I'm sure that she's got some pent up things. You know, you stole that toy from me when we were 4, like, you know. But I didn't like the slap. I don't care about these type of soap opera angles. They're not my thing, really. It's weird. I love the tribal chief, and I love the whole throwing in the towel and whatever. That type of soap opera, I'm down with. But once you start getting into Murphy's not like Seth Rollins, and I'm gonna storm off because I'm a naive 19-year-old. I'm like, all right, leave it to CW.
Yeah, that's the literal story. Is she's naive.
Mm-hmm. And you know where it's gonna end.
But he was swerving her, and he's with Seth Rollins anyway.
It's just going to be, you know, you stupid girl, you fell for this and all that. So, I mean, the other alternative is, of course, Buddy Murphy turns babyface, and then they just really keep this going, and that's kind of strange.
I would kind of like it if she was like, you know what? I am naive, and as such, I didn't fall for Buddy, but I fell under the spell of the cult leader Messiah.
It'd be kind of interesting if this was their way to ruin Murphy and Rollins. Where, like, the Mysterios are in on the whole thing.
In that, like, oh, he's not swerving her, she's swerving him kind of thing?
Yeah, like, I'd be down for that. I don't think that they're going to go in that direction, but...
That'd be kind of cool. Like, they finally got the better of him.
How many people have we seen less this year than Angie? Like, have we seen Angie more times than Brock Lesnar?
Probably getting to that point.
Jordan Devlin?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're a WWE superstar, huh? Well, what can I check out that you've done? I haven't done anything in the past, like, 9 months. But, you know, Rey Mysterio's wife has.
I told some friends this. I'm like, so their soap operas are canceled. And they're like, fuck it, we'll make our own.
What else we got going in here? The Natalya and Lana, they want the tag titles. We didn't really address that all that much. Just a matter of they'll do that another time because it's COVID and we don't want to say COVID. Aleister Black lost to Kevin Owens by DQ after hitting a referee.
And now they're way out of it. Is, hey, we're not even going to do it anymore because Kevin Owens will probably wind up on SmackDown.
Well, the SmackDown thing tonight was he had Alexa Bliss on the KO show, and he was trying to say he wanted to get to know what Alexa Bliss's psyche is all about because maybe that can get him to understand Aleister Black. And all it led to was the Fiend attacked. He held out his hand for Alexa Bliss, who gave her hand to him, stared off to the side. The cameraman didn't get the hint that was supposed to be the camera, so they waited a couple of seconds before they switched over.
I like the wide shot before they switched it.
And we're going to get Owens versus The Fiend next week for the first time ever.
So maybe... Who wasn't on the show tonight? I guess we haven't gotten to SmackDown yet. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, it's kind of making me think that maybe Owens does move over to SmackDown and fights with Sami Zayn over the Intercontinental Championship and fights with Roman Reigns over the Universal Championship.
Because I kind of am.
Kind of depends. I don't know.
I'm ready.
I'm not ready for anything to necessarily happen with this draft unless I see the full draft and I can figure it all out. If it ends up being like, oh, Owens goes over there and they got a couple good matches, but then that ruins Raw or something, then we'll see. We had Murphy beats Dominic. Talked about that a little bit. Dolph Ziggler was answering Drew McIntyre's open challenge, but not really. He was answering on behalf of Robert Roode, who's back.
I don't know how I feel about
it. Did he look older to you?
Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't just me then. He looked like he aged like 5 years.
maybe quarantine wasn't so good to him.
Maybe. I hope that there's not like he's not like
Hell,
beaten up
maybe
or something.
I don't want to say this, but we don't know what he was doing for the last few months. So
He was
maybe
just
he could have gotten sick or something.
total binge drinking the entire time for 6 months straight.
Speaking of Robert Roode and total binge drinking, I know this is another sidetrack, but James Storm said he was supposed to come to WWE before the pandemic.
Hopefully he does.
Yeah, I would love to see Beer Money.
I know that Peter's looking for that. It's his favorite tag team, so maybe we get that in the future, Peter. We also got for the 900,000th time, Mustafa Ali, Apollo Crews, and Ricochet against the Hurt Business. They were all like, "Yeah, well, this ends tonight in a regular match," and it probably isn't going to end. So we'll see if they split them up. We won't know until at least 2 weeks from now, but a week and a half from now. On the AEW side of things, it's just to bounce that around because we didn't talk about much AEW. We had Darby Allin beat Ricky Starks. We got Cody accepting the dog collar match in a way that I thought was absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do the I got this match and I'm gonna say no and I'm gonna walk away and turn around. No to this and whatever. Oh, come on. That was stupid.
If Roman Reigns, full babyface, suffering succotash, Roman did that, they would want his head on a platter. But people were down with this because it's Cody.
The closest thing I can justify is if they would have had him very quickly, mind you, say something like, "So, do I accept this challenge? No. Way in hell am I going to not accept this?" Like that kind of thing. But even that, it's stupid. But at least then you're going like, "No, okay, whatever," like that. You're not doing the total fake out thing.
I'm gonna walk away. No regrets. Yeah.
I hated that. That's been one of my least favorite things that's ever happened in AEW at this point. I thought that this was beyond stupid.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll admit it. That point on, I stopped paying attention to the episode. I ended up I fast forwarded so like through so many different things. I realized that I wasn't flat out paying attention to certain things. Like midway through the SCU thing with the Young Bucks kicking Tony Schiavone, I was like, "Oh crap, FTR's talking." I completely tuned out because I'm like, "Oh god, this is just," because I'm sick and tired at that point. I already watched NXT. I'm watching Dynamite. We did the podcast. I've been writing articles. I'm just like, it's hard to watch Dynamite afterward. And then once they did that Cody thing, I'm like, this is stupid. And I just checked out for like the whole rest of the night. Like, I can't tell you a single thing that happened with Jericho against Isaiah Cassidy.
Dr. Luther got involved and he's going to fight Jericho next week.
Apparently they're called Chaos Project now.
Yep.
He and Serpentico, who's not signed but might be signed.
They have a shirt.
Britt Baker beat Red Velvet. They should sign Red Velvet. She's good looking. She seems pretty good in the ring.
Red Velvet should be signed. I'll agree with that.
I didn't bother watching Moxley against the Butcher.
A good match. A fine match.
I did check out the MJF backstage thing, though.
So good.
Now, for those who didn't see it, MJF came to give some jackets, some like custom jackets, to the people in the inner circle. So he hands out one to Santana, one to Ortiz, one to Jake Hager, one to Chris Jericho, and where's the other one for Sammy? Oh, come on, I know that we packed that. Oh, okay, well, we'll get that to you at some point or whatever. Nice little dig, and I loved the back and forth of, well, I asked you before, and you never gave me a response. Do you want to join the inner circle? No. Do you want me to join the inner circle? No. Do you want to join the inner circle? Yes. Do you want me to join the inner circle? That's what I'm asking you. Like that. Wardlow and Hager have a little stare down. There's a couple ways this could go, and I'm kind of cool with both. Do we get MJF in the inner circle replacing Sammy Guevara?
Well, I think that's where they try to go.
Because it could be good in both ways. It sucks for Sammy Guevara if it doesn't go in a certain direction, but it could be. Maybe this is how Sammy Guevara turns babyface. Maybe he gets excommunicated. He takes some time off. we kind of reboot his character a little bit, where he comes back and he's like, I had a lot of time to think, and I had a lot of bad influences. These people are jerks. They made me a jerk. I'm gonna take you guys out. Fuck you, MJF. That could be kind of fun.
I'd be down for
it. We could get, like, if Wardlow is in there too, because if MJF goes in there, Wardlow has to go in there, unless Wardlow is just going to go off on his own, which is weird. But if he gets in there, maybe they boot Jake Hager out of that. Maybe Wardlow takes the place of the big man.
I mean, anything is possible. I don't know if that's the way I'd go with it. I think this leads to Jericho going babyface, and either MJF takes the inner circle, or Jericho.
Yeah, because if Jericho and MJF are in the same group, it can't last forever.
It can't last long.
It would be real fun to watch those two teaming up for a while. And then I'm thinking we get Nation of Domination. The Rock booted out Farouk. MJF boots out Chris Jericho, becomes the new leader of the Inner Circle.
Would be interesting, and Jericho should absolutely be a babyface. He's good as a heel. People want to cheer him. Well, some people do.
And then he's got, I'm sure, 1,500 different nicknames that he can go with once he's a babyface.
Yep.
You got the people singing Judas. That's a babyface type thing. I really like this idea, and I really want to see where they're going. It's the complete opposite of the Cody thing, where I'm just like, oh, come on, that's awful. I'm like, hey, you know what? That's pretty cool. I like this.
Big fan of their chemistry together, too.
And I mean, he is pretty much following the, like, that kind of mold. He's not flashy like Jericho used to be or anything like that, but he's following that kind of a gimmick of, like, a total jerk. Kind of the way that, like, The Miz did his own sort of thing. He's sort of if you take a Shawn Michaels and you turn that into a Chris Jericho, then you turn that into The Miz, then you turn that into MJF. That's the progression. It's kind of weird. Big fan of that, though. Britt Baker's back in action. I mentioned that. Orange Cassidy beats 10. Yeah, that's about it for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I made the joke on the Fightful podcast because I made my debut on that this week. Yeah, I like that 10 came out with 5 and 4 because 10 came out with 9, and I just enjoyed that.
Well, Evil Uno should have came out too, just to make it an even time. They should do that at some point. They should have 5, 4, and Uno standing on the opposite side of 10 and be like, we got a real balanced size of the rings here.
Or just like, hey, you're fighting 10. I'm fighting Preston Vance. No, you're fighting 5, 4, and Uno.
Right, yeah, why not do that? That'd be great. Like, you have to fight 99 of the Dark Order, and you're like, God, that's nearly 100 people? It's just
Anna Jay.
Anna Jay. I was going to call her Amber Nova.
Nope, wrong name.
Wrong woman. Mentioned her the other day for one of the first times, and now her name's in my head. But we'll see if she gets somewhere else. NXT side of things, so the one that I watched from the beginning and the end and paid attention to the whole thing. Shotzi Blackheart beat Dakota Kai. We had a little thing with Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley. That's just still going on, I guess. We had a promo with Isaiah Swerve Scott and Santos Escobar. We had a vignette with Kyle O'Reilly. Cameron Grimes had the Stepping Stone Invitational, if I remember correctly. That's what
Stepping Stones to the Moon or something.
He beat Joey Pistachio, I think was the name of the first guy.
And it was Joey something else, wasn't it?
And then there was Joey Strong, I think was the name again, the next guy, that came out and was completely eviscerated by Reg Holland, who came out for a match with Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes won by DQ because Reg Holland just kept stomping the shit out of him. Like, it's kind of fun. I like that.
Stepping stones to greatness.
Reg Holland, I like Reg Holland. in a lot of ways. So I like his theme song more than anything else, but I think that he's got some upsides to him. Just make sure you don't injure anybody with that whole thing. Austin Theory had another promo about how he's the future and nobody else is, and that kind of thing. And that led later on in the night to Adam Cole beating Austin Theory. Further in that whole babyface direction of Cole and O'Reilly are babyfaces. Nothing with the tag titles.
COVID.
Mm-hmm. Kushida beat Tony Nese by submission. Tony Nese, if you don't know,
You know,
is
I shouldn't blindly say that. I don't know if it was COVID related, but I can take a strong guess.
It was COVID related. Come on, yeah.
Tony Mango is saying that.
Tony Mango is saying it was COVID related. Go ahead and run it into things. I don't know for sure, but what the hell, it is. What's the likelihood that I'm wrong?
Not high, I would say.
Yeah. Kushida beat Tony Nese. Tony Nese is the guy who is a part of the NXT roster, the 205 Live roster, wrestles on SmackDown and on Raw every once in a while. So, he is the guy that's the 4-brand superstar. I don't know why they haven't made a thing out of that yet. But
that would be awesome.
Kaden Carter beat Xia Li, and we got further into the whole Xia Li is turning heel side of things. And Gargano and Candice LeRae beat Damian Priest and Io Shirai. I kind of liked the pairing of Priest and Io Shirai.
Yeah, they got along with it really well. I would imagine that eventually Gargano and Candice have to get some type of couples belts situation, but it's not this Sunday. I don't think Gargano beats Priest.
I'm less inclined to believe that now than I was the other day when we were doing our predictions, now that they won this match. And posed with the titles and everything, you know.
I still think Candice has a good shot, though.
Who's got more of a shot, she or Kane?
Kane's always got a shot. So I think I gotta go Kane.
And to round things out, we got SmackDown, which started off with Roman Reigns telling Jey Uso if he wants another match at Hell in a Cell, he's got another match.
You completely skipped over the amazing face-to-face. Like the best part of NXT.
Oh yeah, I did. Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor at a face-to-face. There you go.
if you're Kyle O'Reilly, you jerk. If you're Kyle O'Reilly, and then Shawn Michaels calls you the best kept secret in wrestling, whether you've been wrestling 15 years and won world championships or not, how did that not make you feel like you're on cloud 9 always?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle O'Reilly has been getting a lot of positive vibes thrown his way that have been on like that whole like, oh, you know, people aren't taking him as serious as they should and whatever for a little while now. Now that he's got this going on, it's really making him seem like he's a much bigger deal, and I like that quite a bit. He seemed like an actual challenger during that instead of just some guy filling in a role. Still don't think he's got a chance of winning, but you know, that's what they should be doing, is making it seem like he's got a chance.
It seem like people are credible, you know, imagine that.
Yeah. It's almost like NXT understands how to do this better than
almost.
We got the Roman Reigns thing at the beginning of this. Tribal Chief is going to have another match with Jey Uso, and they said it. He said it this way. He said it will have the highest stakes in any other match in history. But they didn't say what it is. He's got to be booted out of the family, right?
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Like, if you lose this, you're out of the family.
You're just out of the family.
Like, you're no longer that big ass interwoven web of the Samoan family tree that nobody can figure out. You just have a big red X where Jey Uso was. You're not a family member anymore. It's got to be that.
I didn't like this. They agreed to a match. Okay, they agreed to a wrestling match, and then Michael Cole's just like, and they're gonna be inside Hell in a Cell. It's like, what? They didn't say that. When did you hear that, Michael? And he just kept saying it. So I guess, hey, they're having a Hell in a Cell match.
I didn't think that they would be having Hell in a Cell match. I kind of don't.
You didn't even know because you probably had the commentary down. And the only way you would know that is if you heard Michael Cole say, and they're going inside Hell in a Cell.
I don't think that they should have a Hell in a Cell match.
Well, Michael Cole said it, so listen here, mister.
He had a good thing in the night, back and forth with Corey Graves, where it's, who is it that writes the history books? Historians. The winners. I love that. I thought that was great. Just a complete undercutting, you know.
Cole can be fun.
Right after that whole segment, to feed Jey Uso somebody to beat, he beats AJ Styles.
I liked it.
It's a good way to get him a win that's like, wow, he beat AJ Styles. And there was a part of me that went, that's right before they do this whole Twitch thing. I wonder if they were like, hey, fuck you, AJ. We're gonna, you know what I mean? Just wondering if that's the case. It might not be. It might.
AJ did just get back to SmackDown, so I don't know if he needs to be traded to Raw. What about AJ on NXT fighting Finn Balor?
I think that he's got a chance to go over to Monday Night Raw. That could work really well because, and maybe I'm jumping ahead. I might write an article about this. I don't know, about like people that might work better off on different brands. Sheamus is one. I think that maybe he could go over and fight Drew McIntyre. AJ Styles is one. The only downside with moving Sheamus is you don't get him winning the Intercontinental Championship, but he could do that down the line too. Well, that's to say, who's not to say that the Hurt Business doesn't move over, and Bobby Lashley with the United States title go over there, and then Sami Zayn moves over to Monday Night Raw with the Intercontinental. Might work. AJ, I think, has a strong chance of moving over to Raw because he's not going to fight Roman unless he turns babyface. So what else is there to do? You know, he already ran with the Intercontinental Championship.
I'd put him, like I said, he just left Raw, so I don't understand like why you gotta put him back 3 months later.
Oh, why have Dana Brooke get traded right before the draft? You know, no. Didn't we have 3 people over the past week or so for this once a quarter brand to brand invitational too?
So we had
Kevin Owens. We're gonna have Owens again next week. We had Braun Strowman on Raw Underground.
Right.
And we had the Cesaro Nakamura move over to Raw twice.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Once a quarter, everybody.
Yeah, but it's a new quarter.
Once a quarter, always a quarter. They never change. I don't know where I'm going with that stupid joke. That's really bad. That's maybe one of the worst jokes I've ever told in my entire life. I'll admit that.
Like than a dime.
They never change. Like, come on, Tony.
But they always change. They are.
It's pocket change, you know.
They always change.
Like, I didn't even say that knowing what I was saying. It literally came out of my subconscious, just being like, blah, just throwing this up.
They decided to reveal this shit past midnight because it says October 3rd. Kevin Owens is gonna have Bray Wyatt, Firefly, Bray Wyatt, on the Kevin Owens show on Raw.
Yeah, there you go. Once a quarter.
And Raw will be headlined by a 6-man tag team match. Guess the competitors.
Let's see. 6-man tag. Well, are we going with the Hurt Business against?
No, we're not doing no Hurt Business.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna try to figure it out without looking, obviously, because that's the whole point. If I was just cheating, then what would be the point? Who do we got? We got on the babyface side, Drew McIntyre.
Yep.
And his partners are the Street Profits.
Yes.
Against. Well, you can't do Andrade and Angel Garza. Andrade doesn't have another partner. Drew McIntyre fights Randy Orton.
Right, and
who the hell else is on this? I don't know. Who are the other two?
You just had a mental lapse for what the main event was. Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes perfect sense. It's easy, whatever.
They just decided to announce that now.
So that way we get Ziggler and Roode against the Street Profits as the next feud.
Yep. Or unless they go over SmackDown again. Because they just came over to Raw 3 months ago.
Who's to say that they don't move Ziggler and Roode over to SmackDown with the... Actually, no, they couldn't do that. Ziggler and Rude could win the tag titles, and Street Profits and Bianca could go over to SmackDown.
I don't know. They never change.
Oh, they're not quarters.
Right.
Something dime, something penny. I don't know. There's the penny championships. There you go. They bring that back. That's how we get back to this whole this money situation. Patreon.com/Smark. Jey Uso beat AJ Styles. Sami Zayn threw the old Intercontinental Championship in the trash can. Otis beat John Morrison. I gotta imagine. Yeah. Hey, where was Tucker?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe one of those COVIDs.
Possibly.
Went in a little Stu Hart there. What do you think about the Rhino?
Hey, the fucking COVID.
Yeah, the COVID. No, it's just stretchy right now. You want to see something from back in the day? Everybody, go back and check one of the worst things of acting in WWE history. Go back and watch the towel get thrown in for Bret Hart's match.
I knew you were going there.
Just Bret's mom is just not. I mean, she is going like full blown like 15 on a 10 scale of crying her eyes out, not knowing when that's just gonna stop. And Stu is just sort of like, let's just fuck it over with. Like,
is Bret still in the ring?
Oh god, and Owen's like, come on, mom, come on, mom, come on, mom, come on, mom.
Some fucking slack. Stu Hart at that point was older than both presidential candidates are today. He's 79 at that point.
Still, kick my ass.
Yeah.
Sheamus beat Shorty G.
I should have kept him on my fantasy team.
That heel turn, not really working out all that well for Shorty G, huh?
Nope.
Big E is going to fight Sheamus next week in a Falls Count Anywhere match, and they attributed that as, well, we don't know if we're going to be on the same brand and whatever, so you think that Sheamus is moving over? I'm pretty sure.
At least it's logical.
Yeah. And Falls Count Anywhere makes sense because they had those, getting attacked behind the scenes sort of things. So I'm assuming that Big E puts Sheamus through a windshield, and that kind of ends that feud. That's cool. I like that. We had the Kevin Owens thing.
Big E stays on Raw?
Big E on SmackDown, you mean?
On SmackDown?
I don't know. It's kind of strange because if they want to, they can move them over and they can kind of do whatever because two of them aren't really there. But if Kofi's going to be coming back anytime soon, I think that they need to kind of keep them on SmackDown.
Well, Woods hosts Talking Smack. Not that that's ever stopped them from doing anything before.
No, they didn't even tell him that he did that. So how does that happen? I just don't understand. But I think that you've got a built-in easy pay-per-view to have Kofi versus Roman Reigns at some point.
Yeah.
He could just be like, man, you're not being a really good champion. You're kind of being a dick. And he could be like, what the fuck, you got your ass beaten in like 3 seconds by Brock. I've beaten Brock.
Yeah, you sold me. I'd watch it at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, why not? So Sheamus moves over to Raw. Big E stays on SmackDown. Potentially beats Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship if he stays there.
I like it.
Owens and Alexa, we talked about that. Matt Riddle, Lindsay Dorado, and Grand Metalik beat King Corbin and Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Yeah, they were the Lucha Bros. They were not Mexicans. Kalisto came out with his shirt open and whatever going, I was in the bathroom. I was like, this is weird. It's kind of funny. They're still, Lucha House Party still arguing with each other. Matt Riddle's got these awful dreads going on, or cornrows. Still got that stupid Bro Derek finisher. I hate that move.
I hate that name.
Yeah. And we also got confirmation that it's Carmella for the Mystery Woman. And she's turned heel.
She's not fabulous anymore. She's untouchable.
Untouchable unless she doesn't want to be.
Because she wants Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, yeah. And she's got an old school camera. What was that about?
She's got a Polaroid. Does it back.
That's the thing now?
Been for a couple of years.
Pop culture. I don't get you people.
Oh, youth. I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was.
Kids today with their music and their
Kids, they listen to the rap music. They not.
The bipping and the bopping. They don't know what jazz is all about.
Jazz is like the new Coke. It'll be around forever.
No, it's more like Kodak film, and that's why Carmel was got.
Oh God! Wrap it up.
This one's a jazz musician. Oh, they all are. God, the Simpsons was so good. Oh man. Sami Zayn. No, that's Sami Zayn. Yeah, Sasha Banks says she's gonna fight Bayley. Actually, we'll hold off on that. We'll make that our final thing. Sami Zayn
Fine, because you know that bothers me.
Sami Zayn beat Jeff Hardy by pinfall. He retained the Intercontinental Championship. And right now, I'm gonna say the phrase that I said you're gonna wait for it. It's not that hard. Sasha Banks says, in a typical Sasha Banks promo, where she nods her head a little bit back and forth and forgets that her neck is supposed to hurt and takes the thing off and laughs and does the typical Sasha Banks things, that she's going to fight Bayley next week for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, you were sitting there thinking, fuck you, Tony.
Yeah, because Tony here, to give some behind the scenes, WrestleVotes was like, oh, well, Sasha and Bayley will be the main event of Hell in a Cell. And I thought that was too early. And then Sasha comes out here and she's like, next week. Now, granted, next week could end with a hoopla.
It will.
Hell in a Cell. But, like, Tony over here is just like, no, they should do it on SmackDown. Just end it now.
Yeah.
End it now. And so clearly they were listening. And
they should be.
end it now.
If they are listening, what's up with that job? I keep telling you. But I
hate this.
I would love it so much if Sasha just flat out wins and Bayley moves over to Raw. Just undercut the entire thing.
Fucking years, man.
I know, but it's the insanity of the whole situation that would just be like, haha, I told you that they should have done this 3 years ago, and everybody said, oh, you gotta wait for long-term storyline, it's gonna be worth it. And then I'd be like, no, fuck you forever. Like, you know, kind of thing, where nowadays, you know, we have the Brock Lesnar rule, because it got to a point where it became, we have a Brock Lesnar rule, and that became like the Bayley and Nikki Cross rule and whatever. Now we've gotten to the point too with Triple H, where we can repeatedly refer to this idea of, yeah, but you know what? You never know what's going to happen with this Braun Strowman storyline and this unique way that we're going to tell this. And if you just wait, Charlotte Flair beating Rhea Ripley is going to make sense in 2-3 months, and it didn't. You know, those become things that are.
Your house was like fine enough.
Awful. Those are benchmark moments as far as making arguments. And if they were to do this with Sasha Banks and Bayley, I'd be like, that just goes to show you long-term storyline is not a thing in WWE anymore. So anybody that says you're not being patient and that it's going to pay off, it won't. There you go. It took 3 years and that's all we got. Fuck you. Argument over. And then I would never have to argue these points anymore. And I would love that, because I would love to not have to do this over and over again.
I gotta tell you.
I desperately want this to happen. It's not going to, but I would love it so much. Or even if it would have just be Bayley retains and they split the two up and they just go, that's not happening or whatever, I'd be like, you know what? That's just ha, whatever. But it's going to be shenanigans that leads to Hell in a Cell.
I'm gonna keep the faith here, folks. I think bell rings and they circle each other and they're like, oh, Sasha's like, let's go, bitch. And Bayley gets a chair and she immediately gets herself DQ'd. And then, lo and behold, Raw drafts Sasha Banks, so we gotta wait until the Royal Rumble for Sasha to win and then challenge Bayley at WrestleMania. Damn it, they deserve WrestleMania.
You know what would be the thing that would infuriate me beyond belief? Fact or fiction. It's all a lie.
Oh man, what a show.
Yeah. We made it up. Never happened. I love that. I probably would have an aneurysm if the bell rings, they circle each other, and then they hug. And they're like, we figured it all out, and we're going to tease the storyline again. I'd probably just be like, you motherfucker! And then it would be like, That'd be on my tombstone. R.I.P. Tony Mango. They didn't do that fucking storyline. Here
I'd like to
lies a
remind you that
broken
you have a
man.
wedding to be
Yeah.
healthy for, so don't do that to yourself.
Well, WWE, don't do that to me. You're the ones in charge of this because you're not giving me the job to be able to be in charge of it. But if you want me to be in charge of that, you know where to find me. But the Banks and Bailey thing, I think that's just funny because
It's not funny. It's
there's
awful.
a lot of ways that could go down. That could be just like you gotta laugh at it,
It's awful.
I know Ben would appreciate Sasha just winning the title.
And I'd appreciate it. It's just not good storytelling.
Well, they can't have like 3 good stories at the same time over the course of like 10 hours of TV, right? No. I mean, you got the tribal chief thing. That's like that's tapped out all the creative juices. Then they got to just copy and paste the rest of the things.
I'm writing an article right now about Raw, and I almost wrote Brock Lesnar. I wonder if that's me subconsciously revealing that Brock Lesnar will turn on Monday or some point in the draft.
He's going to attack Sasha.
You never know.
Then the Bailey and Nikki Cross rule is going to merge with the Brock Lesnar rule, and the worlds collide.
And the world implodes.
And that sets up WWE Worlds Collide 2020.
And Jordan Devlin's back.
George is upset. Well, that's the TV stuff. That's all the hot tags. I don't think there's anything else we need to break down here.
This was an extremely long hot tags. If you stayed with us, Peter, and anybody else, we thank you.
2 hours and 11 minutes is what we're currently at around. This is one of our longer episodes.
And here I am thinking, we can do this quick.
Nah, no, we had too many things. Well, we had a couple.
We started off with Mr. Owl. How do you like to take to get to the Tootsie Roll Center of Tootsie Pop?
Yeah. Not a fan of them, by the way.
No, I hate them.
Not only do I not like the Tootsie Pops, I don't like Tootsie Rolls either. They do not taste like their chocolate. They're like
I don't like Tootsie Rolls. I don't like Blow Pops.
No, me neither.
I don't like gum.
No, I'm not a gum guy. No.
Oh, cool. You're all right, Tony.
Oh, yeah. So if you like any of that stuff, you want us to talk about any of that kind of stuff, you want us to break down some other things, and we don't necessarily talk about it.
Just donate to the Darkcast. We can go
Not only can you get some more of that with the Darkcast stuff, but next week, the mailbag, where we can talk about whatever. It doesn't have to be wrestling related, but that's most likely, just not entirely sure until it happens, but we're aiming for around 3:00 Eastern for Wednesday. That's when we're going to be live on the channel. So bookmark that stuff. Remember, if you ring that little notification bell once you've subscribed to the channel, you'll be aware of when things get posted and when we go live and everything like that. But if you're following Facebook and Twitter and you're checking the Maniacs group on Facebook and you're doing all the other kind of stuff that you normally would do, then you should be aware of that. And of course, we'll tell you next week, like closer to that, if it's off, it's delayed, or whatever's happening. But hopefully you can join. Hopefully you can get some mailbag questions in there. If you can't do that live and you want to send in some questions in advance, I know Peter sent in some questions and Brendan sent in some questions as well. So do that over the course of these next few days. That'll give us some time to actually catalog those and to make sure that we've got like some answers for those things, and to maybe in the time frame where people are getting loaded into the chat, maybe we start answering those already. Whatever happens, but that's the game plan. Then the week after it, we were going to go into the draft review. I'll be setting up the qualifying round of the Champs Giving tournament. We'll get into Hell in a Cell after that, and then we'll do the AEW tier list, which is a little bit after the 1-year debut of Dynamite, but not too far off that it doesn't make sense. Then question marks for November.
Dynamite. So happy 1 year, Dynamite.
That was today?
Yeah, October 2nd.
3rd now that it's 1 a.m.
Well, happy year yesterday, Dynamite.
You have a year and a couple hours. And yeah. My plugs are mostly done. You got some plugs? Talk about the plugs. Plug some plugs.
I'm on Fightful today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And I do the Fightful Wednesday Night War podcast on Wednesdays over on their YouTube channel. I would appreciate all the support. I do the WrestleZone Wrap-Up podcast on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday over on their Facebook channel. I do WrestleZone News on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And I'm also on the Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast, which is on this very podcast feed. And since Callum isn't here to tell you about it, I'll tell you about it. This is the podcast where we go back in time and talk about where Paul Heyman was in charge of SmackDown. And most recently, we did the episode following Unforgiven and had that awesome episode with Edge and Eddie Guerrero. Coming up on this podcast feed a little bit later on this weekend will be the October 3rd episode from 2002, where we find out what's next for Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker after their kind of stinker of a match at Unforgiven 2002.
That's the next thing you're going to be hearing from us. Then, of course, NXT TakeOver 31 is this Sunday, so we're going to have our...
Or it is.
Yeah, I mean, it just keeps rolling along. I mean, my friends at this point are like, hey, you want to, do something? Oh, you got a pay-per-view, right? I'm like, yeah, I do. Every week, practically, I got a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I've been having those conversations as well.
Another pay-per-view point coming up. The post-show, of course, is going to be following the live coverage on smarkoutmoment.com. I'll have my live thought reaction type stuff on eWrestling News. I'll have my highlights and low points up on Bleacher Report, so check those things out. And follow me at Tony Mango, not at Tony Mango again, because that guy's got that thing. I gotta just get that away from him in some fashion. AEW is just now at AEW. That's cool. Finally sorted that thing out. The AEW, AE Wrestling, the AEW Dark. Still think that's a little strange.
Is that what it is for Dark?
Yeah, the AEW Dark, not AEW Dark. I don't know why.
I would have just kept it at AEW_Dark at that point.
Maybe they have some kind of thing going that they're working on with that too. I don't know. But I've got toe and then knee and then mango. So hey, look at that. 4 little things. Follow that all over the place. Follow A Mango Tree. Follow Fanboys Anonymous. Follow Smark Out Moment. Follow your dreams.
Head, shoulders, Tony Mango, knee mango, head.
It's a good spot to end. That's like a kind of an outro of sorts. Well, we'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next time. But for now, this has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out.